Congratulations for all of the GMT members who made good profits this week with the uh, bullish move that we had this week. I know some of the members had good gains with Tesla, ETF, TSLL, and SOXL and NVIDIA. So congrats to those. And in terms of the NASDAQ 100, which tracks the top 100 tech stocks, we see that on the weekly trend, it has formed a bullish engulfing candle. It um, ended the week close to EMA 10. So next week, we can expect it to go further up. Next EMA 50 is at 19,633, so which is about 200 points. Once it touches this, watch closely that this EMA 50 doesn't form a strong resistance, in which case you can see profit booking and market retention potentially bringing the price down in terms of small correction. If you look on the weekly chart, as the Williams R is close to minus 49, so it's midway. Basically, can expect some profit booking at the early start of the week, either Monday or Tuesday. If we see on the daily chart, the Williams R is already in the overbought region. It it took resistance at close to the EMA 50 on the daily chart. If you see, super trend is just about 160 points, which could be the daily resistance. So on Monday's session, watch for this level to either act as resistance, or if it if market is able to break this resistance. But for those who were on profits, it was good to book profits in the last session, and uh, be watchful in terms of this level being either honored as resistance or market breaks. Even if it breaks, the next resistance would be at 19,824, which is another 400 points. So these two are close resistance, which could be reached early next week or by mid of next week. In terms of the overall move, so if market reaches these levels early in the week, it could be a time for those who are taking short-term trades to look for put, or just watch for the correction to happen. And if the market corrects, the level around 18,600, which is close to mid Bollinger Band, that could be the support for re-entry. And if the fall is steep, there are some large cap companies which are going to have earnings later this week. So depending upon the earnings move, if the fall is steep, it could close this gap as well. But in terms of the next buy range, this looks to be a good support to start entering. If you want to be conservative, you can look for entry at 18,350. So that's another about 1,000, more than 1,000 points. We look at SPX, similar trend both on weekly and daily. So SPX has also formed a bullish engulfing. and the next resistance is at again EMA 50, which is at 5,550. So another 25 points, and following that is 5,590. Uh, so very close resistances in terms of upward move. So if you are still on some of the positions and you haven't booked your profits, early next week would be good time to book your profits and be on cash so that you can re-enter when it corrects. You look on the daily chart as well. Super trend is at 15,600, so close to the level that we saw on the weekly chart. And again, Williams R is overbought and it has flattened, indicating that there would be a small correction anticipated at in this week, probably mid to towards the end of the week. So same thing that we saw on NDX, you can see on SPX as well. And quickly we see DJI, although terms for DJI on well simple or on VBull it doesn't load. Let's see if we can get the which is covered call itself. In terms of trend, it would be slightly similar. So DJI, yeah, the weekly chart candles formation is different, but you can see that market got pulled up and it has formed a green closing as well. In terms of DJI, it looks to be at a state where the index is indicating a bullish move even for little longer time. So this is not the actual DJI index; it's a covered call. So let's see if I can actually get DJI on. Yeah, so this is the index, and I was saying is that on the last session, see it has formed a green candle, not as bullish as what we saw on the SPX and on NDX, but in terms of the um, indication, the last candle is still showing a bullish move on the weekly chart. And if we go on the daily chart as well, it has formed a green candle on the second last session, and it has closed above the mid Bollinger Band, indicating a bullish move. So for stocks that are tracked by DJI, there's a bigger upside compared to what we saw on NDX and SPX. The resistance for DJI, close resistance is at 40,583, and if the bullish move is stronger, it can attempt to close this gap. However, what we saw on SPX and NDX, based on that, uh, be watchful for the first resistance that we see here. The high here is at 4779, which could be the high that it could take this time, and then you can see small correction before it starts going further up for the higher target levels. And since we are in Yahoo Finance, let's take TSX index as well. GPA. Yeah. For TSX, the last 3 weeks have been bullish. We see a candle pattern formation here called three white soldiers. So in the next week, we can expect it to go further up from the current level, and the mid Bollinger Band, which is about 300 points higher, uh, to be the resistance for TSX. With this bullish, 3 bullish weeks, the next week looks to be a good time. If you haven't booked your profits, to book your profits around at the mid Bollinger Band when it is close to 26,000, and you can start booking your profits and be on cash for re-entry once the market corrects. On the daily chart, it took support on the EMA 50, and since it has closed above EMA, you can expect it to continue further up. Your MACD is still upwards, although Williams R is in overbought region, but it is flattish, and with the closing that it has had above the EMA, it can still be expected to go further up at the next resistance, which is on the daily chart we see here. Although mid Bollinger Band is higher, since the mid Bollinger Band is curving down, you can expect to face resistance at close to this level of 25,300. So on the weekly chart, the mid Bollinger Band is much closer. So if you are in profit, I would recommend to book your profits at the mid Bollinger Band itself rather than waiting for the upper Bollinger Band on the daily chart, because the upper Bollinger Band is curving downwards. And in terms of the resistance, it's better that you book your profits rather than losing out on booking the profits and it corrects. So in looking at these indexes, the start of the week, you could see prices higher than the highs that we have seen in last 3 sessions, but then expect some correction happening further in the week. So if you are on cash waiting for re-entry, I would suggest to wait for the correction to happen. If you are already on trades and haven't booked your profit, it would be good time to book your profits early in the week and then wait for the uh, correction to happen for re-entry. There's one more index which I would like to cover is SOX, which is the semiconductor index. And if you look at the SOX index, it has formed a similar pattern of what we saw for SPX and NDX. In fact, this has formed even stronger bullish engulfing pattern. and has almost reached the EMA 10, but had not touched that level. So we can expect at the start of the week to touch the 4313 level. And if the move by the semiconductor stocks is stronger bullish, then it can go to the next EMA level, which is about 250, about 200 points higher, which is at 4,455. So if you are on any of the semiconductor stocks like um, NVDA, AMD, you can still expect based on the SOX index that there is further upside potential. On the daily chart, however, you can see the super trend level formed resistance on the last session. Although the Williams R is slightly upward, however, if you haven't booked your profits, I would still suggest to book your profits um, when it reaches these EMA levels at 4,350 or 4,450, which is the level that we saw on the weekly chart as well. Um, it's okay to not close at high rather than losing out in terms of booking your profit. So again, if you haven't booked your profits, you can book your profits at the start of the week and be on cash for correction for re-entry. Apart from these indexes, we will just quickly take the corresponding ETFs. So for those who are trading, since we completed SOX, let's quickly cover SOXL. On the weekly chart, again bullish engulfing the next levels for the target on a weekly trend 1590, although it says 1596. For being conservative and making sure that your target executes, I would suggest 1590 as the second target. The first target from the current level could be the super trend level here at 1430, then 1590, and some quantity you could keep it at for 16.5 if you are holding SOXL. If you are looking to re-enter SOXL upon correction, I would suggest to look for this gap closure around 945. So you could keep your limit buy at 950 if you are actively trading in SOXL. 950 could be the re-entry point for your higher target levels that we discussed. Take TQQ for those who are trading this ETF. It has closed at 1586. In terms of the last session, it broke this resistance and has formed the upper closing, and there's a small gap here at 56. Watch for the resistance at this 56 level. If it breaks this resistance, then the next resistance is at 59, which could be your uh, second target, and then third target will be at 61. If you are planning to hold little longer, I would suggest to hold in smaller quantities. For those who would like to hold for 65, expect a correction at least once before it reaches 60 64.90. For that target, either you keep it in a small quantity or exit, and then you could re-enter. For re-entry, mid Bollinger Band 49, and if it drops, then you can increase your positions close to $46, which is when it closes this gap. And again, in terms of correction, looking at this, expect either correction towards the end of this week or next week for small correction to happen before it continues further up in the to the bullish levels. Overall, if we look at TQQ for 2 month, 1 to 2 month period, it has a bullish trend that we can expect it to go higher levels. But before it goes there, expect a small correction, which could be good entry point for those who have booked profits and are on cash. So now the next, I'll quickly cover NVDA was requested by Faraz. For NVDA, in the last week, you can see the Williams R is upward. 113 was the weekly EMA 10, which it did not touch. So you can expect early next week or sometime next week, it to touch 113. And if you look closely on the daily chart as well, there's EMA 50, which is at 1360, and then super trend is coming at 114 or 114.69, so 115. This would be good time to book your NVDA profits if you haven't booked yet. And for those looking to re-enter when it corrects, 105, which is the mid Bollinger Band, and then 99.8, or you can keep your limit buy at 100 for re-entry if you want to hold it for higher target levels upon correction. And for those who are trading NVDL, which is 2x of NVD, 36, the next resistance is at 39, and 41 would be the strong resistance with super trend, upper Bollinger Band, and an EMA 50 merging almost at 41.50, which would be a strong resistance. It has almost closed this gap in the last session based on these two trading sessions move. But if you are still holding, 39 would be a good price to exit at least 50% of your position, and then you can hold remaining for 41.5 as the final target. Any questions on any of the stocks or ETFs that we have discussed? Faraz, Vivek, Mahesh?
No comment, no comment.
Great.
Okay.
That's great.
Should we buy NVIDIA at 99 or 100 when it reaches?
Yes. So NVIDIA re-entry price will be, the first re-entry price is 105, which is mid Bollinger Band. And you can increase your position at 99 or 100.
And then keep our target till 113.5, right?
Yeah, 113, it will reach this time. So if it corrects, then you can expect higher targets. So if you enter upon correction at 100,
Uh-huh.
then obviously 113 can be your target, but you can expect it upon correction to go further higher. So 115 could be your first target and 117 could be your second target upon when you enter at these levels. You'll see
Okay.
this EMAs getting updated as well once it makes a move further.
Okay.
Okay. So for
Okay.
now, if you are planning to enter around 100, you
Uh-huh.
can keep 115 as your target or 114 point.
But that will take almost 3-4 days, right? At least to come to that level,
Yeah,
if it does.
at least say 1 to 2 weeks. Like
Okay. And
1 week
the
for correction to happen and then to reverse further up.
job market data will not affect this thing.
Job market data, depending upon how it comes, um, depending on the day when it gets released. If it comes out when it is at high, then and the job market is not good, then you could see selling in the market. Or even if it has started correction and the job market is not good, then you can see faster sell off. So it might take lesser time to reach to these levels, 99 or 100.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Okay. All right. So the next was AMD. Yeah. So for AMD, it has had a bullish move. The Williams R is upward. EMA 10, which is 99. That can be the next resistance. And if it goes further up, the second resistance would be the super trend level at 102. So for those who haven't booked your profits, uh, this EMA 50 is at 100, so you can have 100 as your first target. Although on the weekly chart, one of the EMA is at 99. Can still expect 99 or 100. If you want to be safe, you can keep 99 as the first target and then second target as 102. As the Williams R is already in the oversold condition, over bought condition, you can expect correction once it reaches these levels. There's a gap here which it can attempt to close this time, and if it closes, then these levels would be your targets. Especially 100 uh, would be good target to exit majority of your positions, and then you can hold small quantity of position for 102 or 102.5. For re-entry 92.5, you can see mid Bollinger Band and two other EMAs almost close to 92.5. That could be your initial buy. And if you are planning to buy in larger quantities, then when it closes this gap at close to 87, that can be your next buy level. You can enter in small quantity when it is at mid Bollinger Band, but if it has a steep fall or you see a falling knife, then you can hold on to enter when it closes this gap. So for re-entry, the levels to watch would be 92.5 and 87 for AMD. Right. So we'll quickly take the request from Vivek. TFI, TFII International. Okay, so TFII is oversold. It's Williams R is at 88.5. The lower Bollinger Band has not flattened yet. It is still downward. So let's see on the weekly chart. On the weekly chart, oh sorry, monthly chart, it has formed a doji. Williams R has flattened. So Vivek, if you have not entered and if it has come in your screener, it looks to
Yep.
be a good opportunity, but only thing to watch would be the EMA 200, which is still at 58, which is another $21 at this price.
Yeah, I'm just watching it, man, because this is a well managed company as per the analyst. And all this depth is because of Trump.
Right. So, um, looking in terms of risk, when I look on the monthly chart and on the weekly chart, um, monthly chart has a 200 EMA at 58, and weekly chart lower Bollinger Band is at 55. Although Williams R has slightly reversed based on last week's closing, but still in terms of the downside, there's still risk in terms of it to going further down. So if you are really keen on entering it, I see that super trend on the daily chart is even under the lower Bollinger Band. So if you are very keen on entering it, I would suggest to start nibbling it at lower Bollinger Band on the daily chart, which is close to 74, and then increase your position at uh, 69, but then have a strong stop loss. What's the low here? The low here was 75, 72. Okay, so I would suggest wait to wait for it to touch the lower Bollinger Band again. Okay,
Sure.
see how steep is the fall, or is it taking time to drop, and based on that, um, if you see that it is taking support at 73.65, then you can start entering. But if it breaks, then wait for it to drop further. The next support to watch would be 69.
Okay, man. Sure.
Okay, so I see your why it would have come up in your screeners, because it's in oversold as per Williams R, and even CCI and RSI would be showing oversold, and the EMAs are showing upside potential, which is
Mm,
good opportunity, but at the same time, in terms of risk to reward, uh,
yeah.
it doesn't look that attractive. And
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, there are others which are less riskier. So
Mhm.
you can for sure keep in your watch list. And
Yeah,
if it honors those supports that we discuss, you can consider to enter.
definitely.
Great. So next one is UNH, United Health. And I did notice you were mentioning about dividend as one of the reason why you were interested in this. And when I was looking that time, it was in 1.79, and now that it has dropped further, dividend yield is 2%. So maybe I'm kind of missed your point.
No,
Is
this
it the
is
right figure?
you're right. You're right. They also have it on CAD. Canadian CDR is there.
Okay.
Uh, the good thing is like this. What I see is like there is an inverse relationship between stock and healthcare stocks.
Mm-hmm.
So this drop, due to their earnings or whatever, I think it would come back uh, in some time. But I have entered in very small quantity only. That
Mhm.
toward the last. So um, I'm not worried with my position level.
Okay. Okay. So if you have entered, I see that the next support, and this I'm looking on the monthly chart. This upper trend is at 390. This 100 EMA is at 390. That would be the next support. Currently, it is at 418.
Hmm.
And based on the trend that we see on the monthly chart, I am just trying to add ATR so we can see how long it could.
Would you mind keeping 4 hour chart?
Yeah, sure. Just a minute to add ATR to this. Okay, it has a monthly ATR of 71,
Hmm.
which means early next month you can expect it to reach 390 level.
Hmm.
Okay, so that could be your buying level. What's your average for this?
No, I am on CDR, man, on this. Let's give me a second. Your
So
match.
upon earnings, it had a huge gap down.
No, after that only I entered. After the earnings and everything, only I entered.
Okay, that at least
Yeah,
that's
after that
good.
only it came on my screener. So
Right.
before
Okay.
that,
Makes sense.
yeah. So in CDR, like around now it is at trading at 19.77. I am at 20,
Hmm. Okay.
and I have a very small position. So
Right. So yeah, I think you are still good. In terms of the drop, we are seeing 390 as the next support level, and if you look at ATR, it is close to 22 ATR.
yeah.
So, which means uh, you can expect it to, and daily ATR is close to 22.
Hmm.
So you can expect in a day or two it can reach 390, or at max. Even if you look at the weekly ATR, it's 45. So if you take half of it as well,
Yeah.
22. So by next week, it should be at the 390 level, where you can add few more positions. So your average would be better, and then you can hold it for target levels. Okay.
Sure, man. Can you look also 4 hour?
Okay. So shall I look the CDR?
Anything. I think like NYSE is better because the data is high and it gives more strength.
Yeah, and you will see aftermarket covered as well.
Hmm.
Let's see. These days, people has started taking long time to load the charts. Even during the markets, I'm seeing sometimes the charts are disappearing. Okay, let me go to finance itself. This UNH has some problem. It's not loading.
Then we can see it later, Kamal. You can go to the other tickers based on for time sake.
Right.
Yeah, we can discuss that later.
Yeah. Hopefully, it's not the network. Okay. So are you seeing squeeze as well on your end?
Yes, that is the thing that is. I'm expecting like a couple of dollar move, so that should
Right.
be
So with this squeeze, in fact, it makes me feel that it could break down further quickly instead
oh nice.
instead of the squeeze
Okay,
opening upward, it could have like this fall. So you see here squeeze and then a big
mm-hmm.
fall.
Yeah,
So it could have the same because on the larger intervals we are seeing that it can drop further.
fine man. That's okay. Still, like I'll have it. Yeah, we'll take
Okay,
it.
yeah, you keep in watch list, and if
Yeah,
you are planning to enter at the start of next week, I would suggest to wait for it to drop.
yeah. I will wait it. I'll wait further and then because this one has. I mean, I think the drop was because somebody killed someone in that insurance, something like that.
Mhm.
So those things affected the earnings. Uh, it has a good potential to come back.
Right, like in terms of drop, um, it does have good potential on the upside, but for now, I would suggest to wait for it to
Sure.
touch the support level, and then you can take it from there. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay, great. So next you have is PG, Procter and Gamble.
Yep. And they also have CDR, but like this is better.
Mhm.
I haven't entered this, but like it's in my.
Right. So on the last week, it seems towards the end it has picked up. It has downward price rejection, but the Williams R is still downward. Let me remove ATR for now. Williams R is still downward, so watch this week for it to enter.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, the last candle has formed a engulfing,
Right.
and
No,
it
it
has
has.
reversed.
Yeah.
Just check one more thing. So looking at the longer interval for this healthcare stocks, it seems they have further correction expected, and it might be in um, kind of trend wise, it inverse of the tech stocks.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So uh, for this, because it had a gap down, it's a good opportunity. Like you can start entering for the next target levels. Currently, it's at 161. You can enter with a stop loss at 155 for 155 would be almost $6, then 167. So you will have 1:1
I'll wait for
squeeze out.
155 and I will aim for 163.
Okay.
No rush. No rush. Yeah.
Okay. So if you are waiting for 155, then wait for 152.5, which is EMA 200, which would be support. So you can actually keep a limit buy at 153.
Sure.
That would be a strong support to enter. Okay. I thought if you are looking for a quick trade this week, then I was suggesting you can enter with a stop loss closer, or maybe if you want a closer stop loss, then 157, which is uh, $1 below the lower Bollinger Band,
Hmm.
for a first target of 164 and then second target of 167. Okay, if you are looking to take quick trade.
Thank you, Kamal.
Okay. So next one is BHC.
First one. Yeah.
Okay, again healthcare. All right, so this one compared to the other two, at least on the weekly chart, it's more bullish. You
Yeah.
see the last two candles green. Williams R has turned up. It has not reached even at 50 level where it has previously faced resistance on the Williams R. So if you are planning to enter, and it's a $5 stock as well. So in fact, for this one, you can enter in the pre-market for a 50-cent profit, like enter at around 540, 544, and then target 595 uh, as the first target. Let's see on the daily chart. 523. There's this super trend which you might have to watch. But let's see in terms of better buy price. It seems it takes time in loading 4-hour chart. All right. So for entry, if you would like to enter either in pre-market or at start of market tomorrow, 5:15, 525 or 515 could be your buy price. Okay, and yeah, 598 is what we saw on the
Yeah.
weekly chart. Here EME is at 6, which is a good return, like almost 50 cents on a $5.50 stock, so about 10% return.
Yeah.
Okay, so this looks good, like it's a good find. Thanks for asking.
No problem.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's good to trade early morning tomorrow. Okay,
Thank you.
anything else, Vik?
No, man. No, I'm good.
Okay, that's good. Mahesh, any request from you?
No, I think you covered all of those. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. All right, so with that, then we will pause here. And again, congratulations to those who booked profits in the last trading week. And if you haven't booked your profits, book your profits early this week or Monday, or if not at the start of the market, by close of the market on Monday or early Tuesday, and then wait for the correction to happen and plan to enter after the correction. Just before we leave, I would like to mention about the earnings that's coming this week. There are large cap stocks earnings that are due. We have Apple, Facebook, uh, Amazon, and Microsoft earnings coming. So for Microsoft, Microsoft, Meta, and Qualcomm have earnings on Wednesday, which is 30th. Then on Thursday, we have Apple. Sorry, Webull has been taking some time today. Yeah, Apple and Amazon earnings on Thursday. So be on cash by Tuesday, and depending on earnings, if you are planning to take any trades on earnings, do analyze on Tuesday and Wednesday. Watch for our updates in the GMT premium or the community channels as well, and based on that you can take your trades. If you are planning to take any call or puts for these large cap stocks around the earnings, feel free to run through us or share in the group, and it could be that someone might follow you and could make profits as well, so we all grow together. All right, so with that, good luck for this large cap companies earnings heavy week, and hope you all make profits as well, and see you all in the next analysis session. Thank you for joining today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kamal.
Thanks, Kamal.
Thanks.